and Clint Eastwood had worked in many movies, and Don Siegel taught Clint Eastwood how to make movies. And when they made movies, they would be giving, well, Don would be giving Clint lessons. I mean, literally lessons, like a teacher. And on Alcatraz, the same thing. During, as a matter of fact, in the doctor scene on Escape from Alcatraz, there's one scene where they're in a doctor's office. It's a very short scene. The doctor in that scene, that's Don Siegel. Clint Eastwood wanted to direct the scene. He said, I'm ready. Let me direct something that I'm not in. So Don Siegel said, okay, there's a small little scene. You can direct that. But I have to be there. I've got to be in it. I'm not going to not go into work that day.
Probably should have pulled us up on the cameras while the intro was going. But anyway, everybody, welcome to the Three Geeks podcast.
Can I just say, that was some very
today.
Dramatic music for Larry.
I know. I thought you'd like it.
Very epic.
Good job, Justin. Justin is always killing it with the shorts. And I want to say we got a fascinating show. John and I were doing Matt Talk earlier, and we always shoot the shit before the show starts. And, John was reading these news headlines, and I'm like, dude, we haven't had a John Brings Weird News to Three Geeks podcast show in a while. So I'm like, let's add to an already going to be full show today, because we have Joshua Schubart joining us later to talk about the Transformation of Ben Grimm. We've got Spider-Verse, spoiler alert, best movie of the year, easily to talk about, and so much more. How's everybody doing? What's everybody been watching? Reading.
Better Call Saul.
I saw Spider-Verse, and I saw that Bert Kreischer comedy movie, which was okay.
How was it? Did it make you laugh? Because I've been debating.
It did. Yeah.
That's all I care about.
Fine.
It's making me laugh.
I also watched Spider-Verse early this morning, and I also have been reading a phenomenal graphic novel called Wind, which you should pick up, especially now because it's Pride Month, where a majority of the cast is LGBTQ, and it's a really well done fantasy. It reminds me a lot of Jeff Smith's Bone, if anyone read Bone back in the 90s. A lot of that kind of parallel. So, yeah, Wind.
I've been watching Better Call Saul. I have not seen Spider-Verse yet. I heard that sigh. Jeez, come on, cut me some slack,
No, I don't want to.
I've been busy. I was too busy digging up weird news.
You didn't have to dig it up. You already had it pulled up.
I was gonna say it actually came to me. It wasn't the other way around. So,
John,
should we kick off with the news story? Oh, sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
Hold on. I didn't get to talk about this as much as I should have. Like, the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel guys out there, if you guys are sleeping on this show, check it out. Watch it. Like, it is so good, and the stand-up story that they tell is very, very good. Sure, there might be some inconsistencies with history, but I really like how it's handled. Like, she's loosely based on Joan Rivers, and her manager, I can't remember who the manager is based off of loosely, but she's also based on somebody in real life loosely. They have, I'm blinking on his name, the guy who influenced Carlin.
Lenny Bruce.
Lenny Bruce is a character on the show. And apparently he was also like huge in Joan Rivers' life too at a time. So I can't express it enough. It's kind of a low-key popular show. Like, it won awards, but you never hear anybody talking about it. But I really think people should watch the show. I know I'm the guy who likes everything, but I'm telling you, this is a great show.
Is that that's Amazon, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very good show. Even Max likes it. So that's some kind of an endorsement, I think. But yeah, I'm watching that. I just started watching Succession. What a messed up family. It's kind of like a more serious version of Arrested Development. That's what it reminds me of.
That I would say that's the understatement of the century when regards to that show. What a messed up family.
Kieran Culkin can act. Like, yeah. I didn't know that the Culkins had that in them.
Macaulay's was pretty successful.
He was, but I mean, he's coming with a different level of.
You mean like adult mature acting?
Yeah.
Not like they're able to break out like the kid star role. Yeah, Kieran I think has done a far better because Macaulay hasn't done any like heavy adult acting probably since what was that one movie? It was Hedwig or whatever that was.
Yeah, and John's going to bring up Saved, which I
Yes.
do agree. Saved is a great movie.
Saved is very good.
Culkin is great in it. But, I mean, Kieran's on another level. I mean, he might be a creep in real life. I don't know. But he plays a creep very well. Very well.
I haven't heard any stories. Let's not disparage Kieran just yet. This book gets the ball rolling on stuff like that. So
You've just jinxed it, Jason. Tomorrow we're going to find out. Huge controversy, huge tabloid headlines. Kieran
Just don't
Culkin.
give the kid too much Pepsi because he'll wet the bed. We learned that in Home Alone.
Same though. Like, who doesn't?
that was the kid. Oh my God, that was him, wasn't it?
But yeah, you played Fuller in Home
Fuller,
Alone.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to share a bed with someone. Yeah, and it'll be me. I remember that from the sequel.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I'm gonna read the Spider-Verse comic. Has anybody read it yet?
Well, I've read a version of Spider-Verse. There's a bunch of Spider-Verse comics.
They've had a lot of
there...
crossover.
But there's one
stuff.
specifically called Spider-Verse.
What? So are the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah. There's like
Hold up.
Spider-Verse, Spider-Verse 2, Edge of Spider-Verse, Spider-Geddon.
Yeah, I mean,
It's a
anything
lot of
Spider-Man is successful, comic book or otherwise, for the most part. So, like, there's a lot of different stuff.
All right, this is the one. I'm gonna pull it up right now. We're not gonna get into the movie now because, like I said, John hasn't seen it yet, so we're gonna do John's segment first, so he can bow out and go do the things that he chooses to do with his time. And
That's a very. I mean, I know you didn't mean it that way, but it sounds like a very passive aggressive.
Yeah, get
You're
out
gonna
of here,
go do the
John.
things that you do. You know, when you're not here with us, living it
it's
up.
the
on the
it's the
podcast.
second one in from the top.
Okay.
On the left. Yeah.
Hold
Oh, I mean,
on.
they're the same cover.
It
Okay.
it didn't. I don't know why it didn't switch when I switched it, but
That would be the first Spider-Verse crossover, I believe.
okay, yeah, that's the one that I got from the library that I want to read.
Oh, yeah, I've read that one.
I'm sure I'll end up reading them all, but
Are you being
And if you guys
sarcastic,
check out
John,
our
or have you actually
affiliate
read
No,
it?
I'm serious. I read
Okay.
it a few years ago.
I mean, you just so you know, like the Spider-Verse comic storyline is drastically different from what they're doing in the movies.
Mhm.
oh,
Like,
I'm sure. I'd hope so. But John,
It's much
Yeah.
darker.
weird news story do you have for us today?
Well, actually, I have two.
I can't
The
wait.
first one, the one that I told you about, is a weird one, but yet I'm going to withhold judgment on it. According to BuzzFeed, there have been some men who have, unfortunately, and, you know, you may know someone, it might be even you.
Hold on one
that's-
second. For those watching that are just here for the Spider-Man talk, you might want to just mute us for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We might get a little absurd, but go ahead, John.
Anyways, you know, you might sweat a lot. It's summertime, you sweat, you know, you put on deodorant, you do what you got to do, but sometimes it's not the best situation is when it's hot and humid and you're sweating. Apparently, it is a trend now, according to BuzzFeed, that men are utilizing maxi pads to soak up their butt crack sweat and to keep themselves dry during these hot summer months.
You know, as
As you
somebody
do.
who has IBS, I have made a few jokes about that in my lifespan. But to be honest, I mean,
I gotta be honest. I think they're onto something. I think these dudes that are doing it is onto something.
I was
I'm
about to say I know it was initially a weird story, but I'm like, you know, whatever you got to do to provide comfort for yourself in this day and age, you got to be resourceful. So,
And you know what? You know that right now, Kimberly Clark or one of those like, you know, hygiene companies out there is making them right now. Like they're like men's maxi pads. Get on
there's
it.
a whole new demographic.
Yeah,
Like,
there you go.
it's like you can cater to that easily.
I mean, because we've all been there where you got the khaki shorts on, it's hot and humid, and you sit down on the park bench, you have some ice cream, you stand up, and you're like, oh, great. Looks like I crap myself.
Yeah, see,
Same.
that's the main thing is from what I've always assumed, it's like it's all about color coordination and your specific choice. Like, you know, I wear dark slimming clothing usually just because I like the aesthetic of it, but also I'm like, you know what? Dark slimming clothing not just slims you down, but also camouflage a little bit, just in case.
Okay.
But
okay.
you know,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying I've ever had that issue, but definitely is just like a thought that's crossed my mind, being like the ultimate conceal all.
That's a good point. Yeah,
It is.
I think men's ass sweat should be something that should be discussed more.
It
in
happens
popular.
to
It happens to all the guys.
it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something that should be celebrated more, folks.
I mean, the ladies too. I suppose you suffer from it too. I'm sure, but I don't
Just
know.
ass sweat in general.
Ass sweat in general should be a topic.
It's a magazine topic.
I mean, not just ass sweat. I'm not going to get too vulgar here right now, but there was a song released a couple of years ago with the initials of WAP. That's like, you know,
Oh, for the love of
speaks
God.
to some other hygiene issues.
Correct.
And we should just acknowledge and be like, hey, we all got them. We all got to.
We all have our trials and tribulations as human beings.
Yeah.
Cool. News story number 2. I was
Hold
telling
on,
you about.
I don't think we fully explored this idea, John.
What? What more can we do? What? Are we going to try it? Is that what you want?
Do you want to try it, John?
No, I
We're going to check back in here in a week and be like, okay, gentlemen, how did your maxi pad?
It really
week-long
depends.
When I do
experiment go?
the blue chip with sturdy on Scary Snobs, I will make sure I have one of those on hand, and I'll test it for everybody during that.
Okay, there you go. All right, nicely done.
There you go.
There you have
You're
it.
welcome.
It's like how you said it.
But
For
seriously,
science.
it's all just dependent on your own body's chemistry. Like at
Sure.
this point, like I have my air conditioning turned off right now just because I know it gets noisy when we're doing this type of stuff. So I am figuratively sweating my balls off right now, but not actually around that area. Like it's all up here, up top, on my head, in my pits and stuff. But then you'll notice black
How did
shirt.
we get here?
So you wouldn't see it. I know, Justin. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Justin.
I wear
Hey.
a lot of black clothes too, and I use deodorant like down there too. So like I make sure I don't stink. So if maxi pads can help with that stink a little bit further, I'm in.
I despise this conversation.
I'm just watching Justin cringe at everything right now.
I do not like.
Justin, Manscaped sponsored one of the shows I did for the Scene Snobs a few years ago, and they sent out ball deodorant.
Oh, that's a big thing.
If they're paying me to talk about bald stuff, I'll talk about bald stuff. But until then,
Justin's like, the thoughts of the three of them are not those of me.
thank you.
See, this is all. You just got to normalize the conversation. It's like,
That's true. That's true. You're desensitizing me to the conversation.
yeah,
That's right, Justin.
It's,
Just
it's
remember,
exposure therapy, Justin.
use deodorant
fair
on your
point.
balls.
Totally
Your lady
fair.
will thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
John, what's next?
I thank you for her.
This is what I was telling you about, Jason. So I came home. Actually, Justin and I went out to a local comic book store, to check out their big sale, and then visited a few other comic book shops. By the way, Justin, do you think that one couple got arrested in that one store that we went to?
I hope not, because I hope it was just a misunderstanding. But
I hope so too.
yeah,
But we walked in. Here, you guys can help us out. We
Hold on one
walked in.
second, John. What comic book stores did you guys go to?
Laughing Ogre, Comic
Ooh,
Town,
I haven't been there in
and
years.
Dragon's Lair. And
Dragon's
Dragon's
Lair is
Lair
pretty
is
good.
the one John is talking about.
Yeah,
Talking
that's a
about.
good spot. I've been there once.
We walked in and the guy said hello to us, and we were like, okay, hi. And then more people come in and he would say hello to them. This one couple come in and the guy goes, hello, how are you? Good. Can I help you with anything? Blah, blah, blah. Then within like 3 minutes, he did it again to the same couple. Like, he was like, hey, how you guys
same
doing?
question.
Exact same question,
same
verbatim.
question.
And it was weird. And we were like, let's leave. And then
Yeah, very uncomfortable.
Justin's roommate claimed that they were looking a little sketch and they might have been trying to swipe something. And so I wanted to stay in the parking lot and watch them run out, with the whatever they stole in their hands. But
That is a retail move. If you think somebody's being suspicious, you engage with them, ask them if you can help them, or not really say hi to them again. That's kind of not really doing what you need to do. But
Check in
Yeah.
with them on the regular. Yeah.
okay,
I
well,
mean,
there you go.
it's probably what it is. Because
That's probably
Ben
it.
has a lot of retail experience, so that would make sense.
Okay.
I mean, I have had those situations where I'll go into like a store thinking that something will be there that I want to purchase, but then I realize I just didn't do my homework correctly and it's not there. And then I have to have that awkward moment of like, I didn't buy anything, so I'm just going to leave. But I don't, I don't make a spectacle of it. It's like I'm in there. It's clear I didn't touch anything or look. I just looked and then I'm zoom out. Like not a concern. But yeah, that's a little sus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little bit.
It's very
But
sus.
But I came home and I was flipping through the channels as I had a snack, and one of those channels I get over the air is like Crime Network or something like that. And there was some show on, like it was called like FBI Most Wanted or something like that. But they talked about this case from the mid '90s that was mind blowing. It was so amazing that I didn't finish the episode because I had other things to do. But I looked it up on Wikipedia. If you get the chance, you should check out on Wikipedia the death of Brian Wells. Because this Brian Wells character it's amazing. So essentially, he was a pizza delivery guy, and kind of like a little bit of a, I hate to say it, but a little bit like, you know, the town loser, if you will. He kind of was, you know, he was a pizza delivery guy, kind of kept to himself and everything. But nonetheless, he robs a bank, and then is caught. Yep, there it is. The death of Brian Wells. This dude gets caught. And the cops like handcuff him, and they see this giant bulge sticking out of his shirt, like this. And they're like, "Dude, what is with your shirt?" And he goes, "There's a bomb strapped to me." And they were like, "Holy shit!" And so everybody backs up. So this guy claims, Brian Wells claims, they went to deliver a pizza. He got to this rural address. He got out. A dude came over, pulled a gun, shot at him. Missed him because he dropped to the ground, and two other dudes jumped on him and put the bomb on him and said, "You got to go rob this bank, and you have 55 minutes to do so, or we're going to detonate the bomb." So the dude goes, he robs the bank. He gets not very far from the bank, and the cops arrest him, and that's where they pick up the story where he got arrested. They had him sitting on the ground. He goes, "There's a bomb strapped to my chest." So they call the bomb squad. And I'm like, this is really suspicious, if you ask me. And they had an FBI agent on as a talking head saying, you know, he was there, and it seemed like Brian Wells was very calm for being in this situation, that he was very, very calm. And eventually they're talking. He continues to tell the story about what happened. Bomb squad's like a minute away. And so then the bomb squad's like 30 seconds away. And so things start beeping. And eventually the bomb detonates, which I didn't see coming. Blows a hole the size of a fist through his chest, killing him instantly.
Oh my gosh.
And then the bomb squad got there with like, had they been there 30 seconds earlier, they could have maybe done something, but they didn't. The weird part is when you start reading the backstory about the conspiracy and how this all came together. And the controversy of, some people think that Brian Wells was in on it. Other people think that Brian Wells thought this was all a gag. Like this was, you know, a deterrent. Like the cops will let me go because I have a bomb on. And unknowingly, his partners were like, "Yep, click, boom." And it was crazy. It's crazy. There's all these conspirators. There's like two main ones, and then there was two other significant ones. But the one guy died before he ever went to trial, and the other dude turned state's evidence and got immunity. Then there was a hooker that apparently got involved in this, and she got charged with some things. But it's a crazy tale. All they wanted was $250,000 so the two conspirators could kill the one conspirator's dad and cash in on insurance.
Jesus.
That was intense, and I'm over here reading the Wikipedia thing as you're telling me the story.
So, speaking of the Wikipedia, so Brian Wells, died from explosion. So, whose picture is that in the Wikipedia?
I think that's him. I think that's him. But
that's
that
his driver's license.
That's a driver's license? Because I was like, is that a mug shot? Because it's like, then he had prior. So, okay, maybe driver's license.
And what's crazy is when I'm reading this, and the people who worked with him at the pizza place, a lot of them got killed a few days later or weeks later.
Yeah, it's wild.
When was this again?
In the mid 90s, like 94 or 95.
Huh.
Yeah, and the movie 20 Minutes or Less with Jesse Eisenberg, I think it got sued, is what I read, because the stories were so similar.
I just kind of didn't anticipate a bomb detonating, killing somebody. That was like when I'm watching this, I'm like, it's a scam. and then it explodes, and then they go back to that FBI guy, and he goes like, "I've been doing this a lot. I've been doing this like 20 some odd years. I've never seen something like that." I'm like, Jesus, when
That's
you
crazy.
can shake an FBI agent to his core, that's some heavy duty shit.
Yeah, word.
That was
Word.
Word.
That is,
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know
damn.
what else to say.
Also kind of a downer too. Jesus.
Well, would you like me to give my Stanley Cup prediction real quick, and then that'll be it'll be on the uplift. All right. I'm picking Vegas. I think it's going to take 6 games. Vegas wins, lifts the Stanley Cup. I'm voting for them solely because.
What is this music?
What is this music?
I was trying to find some silly music to play after that, but I don't think they have any silly music on these StreamYard loops. Right, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I was about to say like John gets his own like specialty corner.
Yeah,
here.
what? I want my
what
own
the
theme
hell?
music.
What's going on?
Welcome to the John segment. Go ahead, John.
Anyways, Vegas in 6 games. That's good. I like that. That's good. That's got a nice vibe to it. I like it. I just hope that if Vegas I hope if Vegas does win, then that gives Commissioner Bettman the winning franchise in the desert, and we can forget about Arizona. We can just pull the plug on that terrible experiment.
Nice. I'm rooting for the Flyers.
They're not in it, but I know you love.
You can
sports
still be
ball.
rooting for it though.
I hope they get all the home
Jason,
runs.
you can't fool us. I know you're
You're
rooting
doing
for
your
the
best.
Ducks. You're rooting for Anaheim.
Are they in it?
Quack. Quack.
You're rooting for the Ducks.
Quack.
I know
No,
you
they're
are.
not in. They're not in it either.
Damn it. I wanted to see Fulton hit the final game-winning score. I
Wow,
don't know
you
if they're
remember their
called in hockey.
names.
Are they called pucks? Like, I don't.
You remember their
one thing
names?
from those movies. It's a 1-2. What is it? The knuckle puck or whatever the hell
Yeah,
that is called.
that
Yeah.
was Keenan's. Yes, I know the names. My daughter loves the Mighty Ducks. We watch it together pretty regularly.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them on VHS.
We can. I have them on VHS.
And the Disney Plus show. Oh wait.
Yeah, those sons of bitches. They see. Makes me mad. Like, it wouldn't make me mad if they'd make this stuff available to buy, but they don't make it available to buy. Like, parents like me enjoy watching certain things with their children. Like, I don't want to sit there and watch American Pie with my daughter, but I can share like our Mighty Ducks love together. And she really liked those shows. I enjoyed watching those shows with her. And now we can't watch it because they took it off, and they don't even have it out for anybody to consume on either DVD or Blu-ray. That sucks. At least Peacock gave me Saved by the Bell on DVD when they, canceled the show. It's still on their service too, by the way. And they canceled the other show we like, Big Shots, which was pretty much Mighty Ducks, but with teenage girls and John Stamos. So, give me the shit on DVD or Blu-ray, please, people. Mike had the same rant about HBO Max.
What did you do, Mike?
I know. I poke bears. I'm sorry. I poke bears.
If you're gonna take the stuff off, make it consume. You can do print to own media. Amazon does it, where you can just somebody orders it, then they make the disc and they ship it out. It takes a little bit longer, but guess what? Nobody cares because we want these obscure things that we like.
Now, Justin, where were you on his theme music for that little moment?
Justin,
fair, totally fair.
Justin
I was
should have
just
hit the
scared of
cursing
Jason's
button
response.
like 6 times. That's 2 weeks in a row that I've gotten a rant. So thank you, Justin.
Yeah, you're slowly changing and turning into Max. How does that make
Max,
you feel?
Max is never here anymore.
That's just fair.
Oh, can I give a hot take? I have a hot take.
Oh, boy.
Jason, you've heard the hot take. Can I throw one out there?
Sure.
You can do whatever you want, champ.
Animal House, unfunny movie.
I don't think it's a hot
That
take.
is a hot take.
I don't disagree, but I've only seen parts of it.
It's I think it's on the record. It's like the comedy of it genuinely hasn't aged all that well compared to some other comedies.
It's not funny at all. Like I watched it this weekend. I was visiting my cousin. He was like, "You've never seen it? We should watch it." I'm like, "Sure, okay." I didn't laugh once. I was like, "This, like," and I was excited because I'm like, "Oh, this is gonna have all the raunchy jokes and everything. Okay, this will be funny."
John
No.
loves raunchy.
No
Oh,
raunchy
so
jokes.
it was your first time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
I genuinely okay. I can see because here's the whole thing. I have seen it before. There were moments when I was younger that I was like, haha, okay, I get it. But then I'm more of the mindset like as time's gone on, I'm like, nah, this isn't funny really. This is actually kind of horrific. So
Mhm.
That's funny.
But that happens, John. Like if somebody hypes up a movie so much, or if you spent, how old are you, in your mid-40s? You spent all that time getting. That wasn't a dig, okay?
It felt like a dig.
It's objective truth.
You spent like 30 some years, John, of people hyping this movie to you, and then you sit down to finally watch it, and it just doesn't live up to the expectations.
Honestly, yeah, that was me with Princess Bride, because I'd never seen it before when I was younger. Everyone would like quote it, everyone would praise it up and down the road, being like, oh, it's such a great, like, not just comedy but fantasy movie. And then I finally watched it like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm like, that's it. So I do get where you're coming from, John. Where it's like,
but I will say this: the other movie we watched, Two Guns, fantastic.
I did like Two Guns. It's I don't. This is another movie. Like there's certain movies that people go and watch, and then they say they don't like it, but you have to ask, like, what did you expect? This movie gave us exactly what I expected, which was Denzel Washington in a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, with Wahlberg. Was that Wahlberg and Denzel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Our favorite topic, Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
And his dealerships.
He's gonna find us. And there's a back catalog of us making fun of Mark Wahlberg, and it's not gonna be great.
I feel so bad about this because it was from that era. I saw Two Guns. I could not tell you anything about that movie now. Like I saw it once and I completely forgot about it. Same with that one he did with Reynolds, Safe House.
Safe House was surprisingly good. I thought
that's what I thought at the time, and I saw it, and I'm just like, I cannot remember anything that happened in that movie.
I won the DVD at a White Elephant.
Nice. Yeah, Two Guns was another one, though. I mean, I like that movie, and every time somebody reminds me of it, I usually sit down and check it out again. But every time, I forget about it. I forget about Safe House, too.
Mm-hmm. So you're going to say, is Animal House going to go on the shelf of movies you won't watch again in your house, John?
First of all, Justin, I do not have a shelf of movies I will not watch anymore. There's a random few on the shelf. There's
a whole shelf.
No, there's not. There's
not a whole shelf, John. Or Justin, there's a whole bookcase of movies.
Shut up.
He goes to the store and goes, I saw that movie. I will never watch it again. How much?
He's got to make room for all the seasons of Jag. Come on.
There's a new season of Matlock coming out, and I have to be ready.
Look, I told you, I confessed. Some of those freebies I got, I've watched them once. I don't like them. They sit there. Eventually, they'll go somewhere. Maybe I'll take them to Dragon's Lair and
we'll put them in your coffin. Eventually, they'll go somewhere.
Better yet, Justin, make my coffin out of those DVDs.
As fun as this is, John,
you can send me to hell.
We have a guest joining us in 13 minutes, and it's time to get in the Spider-Verse because I've waited long enough to talk about this movie with human beings.
All right, goodbye, gents.
Goodbye,
everybody.
John.
All the fans that are watching, thank you kindly. See you later.
Bye.
Spider-Verse. Lord and Miller are still 100%, and this is the best film of the year. Hands down. I'm not going to spend a lot of time comparing it to the other superhero movies we have because, in my opinion, this is on another league. It's up there with like the Dark Knight movies that are good beyond the superhero genre. And one of my favorite parts of this movie is we didn't, because in a lot of these animated sequels or sequels in general, they will purposely just try to get the original characters back together as fast as they can at the beginning of the movie, and then shenanigans ensue. But this movie, I'm so glad they didn't do that. Like the characters they chose to revisit, which was only a couple right away, made sense. And the way they started the film made sense. I'm glad we got it through Gwen Stacy's eyes more so than Miles's, because that's going to help set up the third movie. And I left the theater like, my review I posted on 3 Geeks, like the first 5 words out of my mouth were wow, 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 wow. Like, wow.
I cried 5 times in this
I cried twice.
Yeah.
I didn't cry, but it was good.
Things you gotta know about Justin. He doesn't cry in movies. His ass doesn't sweat.
Oh, it sweats. I just don't want to talk about it.
You just did.
Yes, man.
I posted a review on my Facebook feed earlier. It's like, this is a beautiful film overall. Like I'm still riding the high off of it from this morning, so it's a lot of stuff is still fresh. I'll have to watch it again just to revisit those themes and pick up on stuff maybe I didn't pick up on before. But I think I got the gist of this in the first viewing, and everything really worked for me. I love the first one, and everything that was great about the first one is amped up to 11 in this one, and it's really well executed overall. Like you said, I love the fleshing out of Gwen. I feel that was needed. Even the fleshing out of Peter, even though he doesn't show up until close to the third act. Like Peter B. Parker doesn't show up until close to the end of this film, but it's still worth it to see how much he's kind of grown and where his character is now in relationship to Miles. And Miles, I was surprised like how many quiet moments there were in this animated film, because all the previews for all the movies before this were obnoxious. They had a preview for that new Trolls movie. They had that one for the new Pixar film, which looks okay, but still has a lot of that like quirky. But this, I was surprised how much they just let characters have quiet moments to breathe in this. The family scenes are so good. Like those are the parts I teared up at, were the family scenes.
Family.
Forget Fast and Furious. Spider-Verse is just family moments.
Yeah, I agree.
This is a movie. I don't know if this was planned as a trilogy. I know that this second film was planned as two films, like one into the other. But it feels like a trilogy. Like it makes sense. The trilogy makes sense. Like I highly recommend you watch the first one going into the second one, or you might be a little lost as far as the characters go. But like I can't believe how good it was. I was really, people on the news sites and stuff, and this is why you shouldn't run with things. Just wait until you see the movie so you can enjoy it. But people were freaking out because Nicolas Cage wasn't back as Spider-Man Noir. And it's like, well, if you see the movie, you find out why he's not back as Spider-Man Noir. And it makes sense. And, he could show up in the third one. It's very possible.
Well, that's why I say the first movie I feel is, and I'm not usually a fan of this, especially with the MCU stuff where it's like, it feels like homework going into movies these days with Marvel Studios. With this one, though, if you're going into this and you haven't seen the first movie, yeah, a lot of the important parts hinge on you having a little bit of knowledge, because Peter B. Parker, his whole character growth is a direct result of the first movie. Gwen Stacy's fleshing out of character is a direct result of the first movie. Miles, his whole character growth is a direct result of the first movie, and a lot of it hinges on a revelation about how he's even Spider-Man to begin with, which I was just like, I don't know if they had that in mind when they first, made the first film, but it's like, oh my gosh, that's actually a great idea. And it plays into this it was a cool meta thing about like all these people who have been saying like Miles Morales isn't really Spider-Man. All the naysayers who've been saying that in the real world since like 2010, when the character first debuted, they're like, he'll never replace Peter Parker. And it's like, yeah, like this is a statement on that, saying like, this is to prove all of you wrong. Like Spider-Man isn't just Peter. Spider-Man's this idea that can be embodied by anybody.
Which was, Stan Lee's original idea for Spider-Man, was that it could be anybody. And, we usually go into spoilers for these conversations, but we're not going to with this one. I want to stay away from spoilers because I genuinely want you guys to feel the surprise because the cameos are executed very well.
I can't believe Spider-Pig died. Yeah, it's crazy.
Dude, don't say that. That's not true. Or is it? I gotta watch the movie, but Justin, you can get his hate mail.
I mean, maybe.
I can't believe you didn't not spoil that movie to me. You want to share your thoughts, Justin?
Sorry. I feel like we've been talking over you.
No, it's okay. No, I loved it. It was great. The family sequences were great. I really enjoyed kind of learning about Gwen Stacy's Peter Parker, because that was kind of a new thing for me, like understanding what happened with him. And a lot of fun stuff. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, I don't want to spoil anything. The Spider-Man thing was a lie.
Spider-Gwen and Miles Morales are quickly becoming two of my favorite characters, and I need to explore more of them in the comic books. I know that the adaptations are going to be different, but I'm really digging the characterizations of those two. I'm not going to say who it was, but that live action cameo in the middle of the movie.
Oh, that was good.
I laughed so hard.
That's been paying off for that individual for years now, because it's like that's why Miles Morales exists, is because of something started on account of that particular individual. That might have spoiled it. I'm sorry, but
It's okay.
like, but yeah, that was a cool kind of inclusion on that part. Yeah, a lot of the new characters I really like. I like a lot of the variation. The Spider-Man India character,
Yeah, that cracked me up.
Spider-Punk.
I was
really
waiting for Joachim Spider-Man, or what was his name that we came up with?
Jakob Spider-Man.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was waiting for that to show up.
Yeah. Well, that used to be a character back in the day for us. It's like, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if they somehow worked that in there. But also, like, I don't know. It was really a lot of the cameos and, you know, fan service stuff. Usually that would irritate me, but it's all integrated really well here, and it makes sense for a movie like this. Where
If The Flash is as good as people are saying it is, compared to this movie, then we're going to have a really good month of superhero films. Because everybody I've watched has these two movies. That Spider-Verse is above, but I mean they have them very close together. So
If they're in the same ballpark, it's gonna be a very good movie.
I'm just going to tell you right here now, I haven't seen The Flash. I'm guaranteeing you Spider-Verse is way better than The Flash.
I care about the characters more.
But like I said,
I give a crap about the protagonist of
the people that
movie.
say they're close, they've all put Spider-Verse ahead of The Flash. I'm just saying, like, the fact that they're even close, or that people are talking about The Flash is
I don't care. Like, I care more about Miles Morales than I'll ever care about Ezra Miller's Flash. So it doesn't. It's not even a contest. Like,
that's fine. Michael Keaton. Like, I'm very excited about that.
That's fine.
Michael Keaton. That's a movie quote right there.
Yeah, I just want Michael Keaton.
All right, everybody. I don't want to keep our guest waiting. I should probably tell him he can unmute himself so we can pull him in. But we have a friend of the show, Joshua Schubart, coming on to talk to us about the Transformation of Ben Grimm. How you doing today?
Hey, what's up?
Surprise!
You're live. You're live. What's up, guys?
Not much, man. I guess you really want to see Spider-Verse.
It's one of my favorite. So, like, the first movie was so incredible. I love how it's one of the few movies that is endorsed by the Comic Book Commission, and God, I love it when that happens. It's like chef's kiss. Like, you're like actually gonna get something that's really good. And the first movie was fire. Like, I just haven't seen it yet. Like, I had an opportunity to go to a couple of the pre-screens, and I've just been editing this and getting this movie out and just doing like promo for it. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm freaking excited to.
Yeah,
You'll love
should
it.
Go see it as soon as we're done. You should just go.
And I love Miles. Like, I love Miles Morales as a character. He's one of my favorite Spider-Men. Just because I love where he comes from. I love his story, his arc. Just like I just fucking love Miles Morales. Can I curse?
Yeah.
You just did.
Yeah. We only have a demonetization counter for one of our group members, and he's not here.
All right, guys.
I was running late to start OBS. Normally it'd be up, but
No, we don't. Cutscene that we don't care about. But I know that you are a fan of comic books. But what was the first comic book you ever read?
The first comic book that I ever read. Oh my God, Jason. Oh my God, I got to dip back into the memory banks. I think it was Wolverine. Okay. Standalone Wolverine. Oh God, maybe like early 90s when I was like 10 or 11 years old. Wolverine when he was in the mountains against the Wendigo. Do you guys does that ring a bell to anybody?
Not for me, but it sounds awesome.
That was after the Claremont run, right, with Frank Miller. Okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm trying to recall exactly when this was, but yeah,
that was my first like real comic book, and then I actually found The Tick, and I read as much of that as I could. I love that. I love the Tick, but I love Wolverine. I love Spider-Man. Like, that's why they're on the wall right behind me. Love Venom. He's one of my favorite characters too. I love Eddie Brock. Not during when like he was just like I'm a punch you. I got muscles. Like when they actually turned him into like an actual human being, he became one of my favorite anti-heroes.
The Lethal Protector. Eddie
Yeah, the
Brock.
Lethal Protector was cool, and like Maximum Carnage was one of the most epic runs I've ever read. Like, just so brutal and great, and that's what's great about comics, right? Like, you can just like get into them, and they can change your life in like a weird interesting way, right?
Yeah, Maximum Carnage was my entry point to Spider-Man. Actually,
Oh,
I'd heard about the character. I'd seen like an episode of the '80s cartoon, and then reading the crossover of Maximum Carnage, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like intense. I like this.
Did you play it when it was on Super Nintendo?
Oh yeah,
that was a great like side scrolling beat 'em up. That was great.
What's your favorite independent comic book? Because I really enjoy stuff that isn't created by Marvel or DC. Do you have anything that you really could recommend?
I mean, other than the Tick, I'm just gonna plug the hell out of it because I'm on the show too, but that doesn't matter. One of my friends actually is a really great indie comic book creator. His name is Easton DeVerna, and he works with an incredible artist named Sean Daly, who did he lives in Canada, does incredible work. They've got a book that just got picked up by what's the indie book label? It's escaping
like
me.
Image, Dark Horse, any of those?
Sorry,
IDW.
IDW, yeah.
They just sponsored one of the cons recently. It's called A Guardian. Let me just look it up really fast, just so I can plug my friend. But it's also really good.
Okay. We're always
I'm not just like plugging them.
Yeah. Always looking for recommendations for sure.
He did A Guardian, which is his new one, and his last completed one is called Samurai Grandpa. Which is about like an old school grandpa. The like artwork's sick, and Sean actually made all of the concept art for my new movie that I'm in pre-production for, and it's just like, can I drop images into this, or is that not possible?
I imagine you can. Do you have a present, or do you want to drop another different file in StreamYards?
I want to pull this up real quick, and then you can go. But
yes, I'm my grandpa. Yeah, check that out.
That's awesome.
And then what do I do? How do I do this?
Down below, there should be like an option to present.
Oh, present.
Next to settings, screen invite.
And then I can pull it up on the screen.
Share screen.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Share screen.
Well, based off just that cover alone, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Really, Master Roshi about to go up a mountain.
Yeah, some of our favorite interviews are the independent comic book creators. We've just lined up 2 for the next couple weeks.
All right, so you can see me. Am I?
We can see you.
Ooh, Inception.
Infinite loop.
Whoa, that's cool.
All right, so this is some of the concept art for my film that was made by Sean. It's
sweet,
incredible work.
Nice,
just really cool character art. This is one of the locations. The film's called We Got What You Need, and it's about a character that works overnights in a gas station. This is one of the characters. Incredible character. This is the local coffee shop. This is the security camera robot. This is what he turns into, and that's Stacy, who's like the main villain, and that's Steve, who's her henchman.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Time to go back to Inception, but he's he's an incredible artist, and I was very happy to find him through Easton because they work together all the time.
That's awesome.
Nice. I'm going to pull up your film because you gave us permission to air it.
Please do.
And we can mute ourselves so it can play through. But here we go. Everybody, like, seriously, go check this out. It is a good, solid flick. All right, here we go.
Need sound, Jason.
Yeah, I think you're missing audio.
Oops, sorry. Let me fix that.
It's ruined, Jason.
Ruined.
That's weird. It should have. Oh, I know what the problem is.
You gotta punch your webcam.
You have it muted on YouTube, Jason.
What's that?
It's muted on YouTube too.
I know.
Yeah,
I got that. All right, we got it
We're
now.
going. Oh, all right. I don't think we got it. There we go.
Come on, let's get you to the lab. Less talking, more walking, big guy. I should have known, Leia. Don't convince me to go up there. We don't know that. What? Don't worry about it. What is? Come on. I'm gonna go get the scanner. Reed, what happened to my voice? Reed, what's happening to me? It's clobbering time. I'm all in. Yeah? You're all in? You think you got me beat, Logan? I know I got you. This guy, he says he's got me beat. He's got me beat. Okay? Well, if you think you got me beat, put him in the middle. Put him in. But before, well, you can't take it back because you already put it over the line. But before, okay. If I call you and you lose, you got to promise me that you're not going to do what you always do, okay? You're not going to get mad. You're not going to flip out. You're not going to turn over the card table. No promises. No promises, this guy says. No promises. We're finally playing in a nice place. Second Talk Brewery let us play here after hours. For the first time, we're not in some crappy basement, okay? So if I put these down, you're not going to do nothing stupid. Just nod or something. What'd you get? Flush. That's a good hand. That's a respectable hand, a flush. But it does not beat quads. Quads! I got you on the flop, baby. Look at, no!
So, have you tweeted this out to like the director or Kevin Feige or anybody?
I mean, it's literally everywhere. Like I put it everywhere. I haven't just directly tweeted it at anybody just because I just wanted to kind of go out organically. I mean, I'm like answering every comment, even like the quasi weird negative ones that are like people don't like that I'm not orange. People don't like the way that the prosthetics move a little bit, but I just like very calmly explain like some of the shots got a little weird with the prosthetics, but we chose performance over prosthetic function. It's because I know that it's a really good piece of work. We tried really hard to keep it grounded and authentic to the character and the world and all this stuff. So, and it looks great, sounds great, and I'm very proud of it.
Yeah.
I really like the look of Ben in this.
Well, because it's more like a conceptual sort of pitch of an idea of like what the thing is supposed to be or what you feel like you could offer to it. How long did it take you to film that?
We shot that in 2 evenings. The first day was about 12. It was like 12 hours, and day 2 was about 8 hours. We split it up like that on purpose because the prosthetics themselves take multiple hours in a chair. So day 2 was the full day where I was in the full piece. But I mean, I've been in prosthetics before, so it wasn't like horrible. I shot this pilot with Gilbert Gottfried, where I played an anthropomorphic manatee, which never got picked up. But it was a wildly ludicrous ride. It was a lot of fun, and I have all the footage, but it would have been a crazy ass show. But
can you share the footage with us? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I will. I might actually have it on YouTube right now, but hidden.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so that was the longest day, and the prosthetic artist, her name is Sydney Sawyer, and she's incredibly talented, and she's worked with the Disney parks before. She did work at Batu, and she did work at Avatar Land and a bunch of other stuff that she can't talk about because it hasn't come out yet. And Mickey and Minnie's Rock and Roller Coaster, the like new one in Hollywood Studios. She's incredibly talented, and I love working with her. She's super nice and cool. And then the rock prosthetics were made by Franny Bromley, who like the rocks in the mid transformation, and she was awesome too. It was a lot of fun, even though it was incredibly traumatic and hard to do.
Yeah, I really loved, like, I don't know why, but the hand part of it, like your arm and the rockiness and the blockiness of it, I really, really liked that.
Thank you. Yeah, that was incredibly hard to manipulate. So the hands themselves, they didn't do a life mold of my hands. I don't know why, but it just didn't happen. And they were really small. So we had to like cut little slits in them, which I can see it. I don't know if a lot of people can, but like I'm looking directly at it every time that like my hands on the screen. But that's just because I spent hours in like the editing room, just like being like, they can see, they're gonna see it. They're gonna call me a bitch. They're gonna call me a bitch on the fucking internet, you know, like. But so it was cool because we really wanted to get that like tactile, like especially holding cards and holding the cigar and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm curious when it comes to prosthetics, because you said you've done prosthetics before, and obviously here with the final shot and also the after credits thing with poker, you're covered like head and hands at least in prosthetics. It's like, is there a certain mindset you have to put yourself in? Because I've known other people who've done like makeup work, and it's like they describe like having like claustrophobic or panic attacks or things of that nature when they're layered up like that. Like,
yeah, it's a thing where you just have to kind of like breathe with it and just zen out and let it inform you as a character, right? I had done a lot of planning for this role, like how the voice was going to be and how I was going to move. But really, like once you get into your skin, because that's what it kind of is. It's your new body. It just like informs you like incredibly fast, and that was really cool because even when I was partially the way there, I could feel myself transforming on the inside. But like as like an actor and like an artist, I was like, okay, it's happening. I can feel it. Like I'm becoming the thing, my version of the thing, and it was cool. It felt really special, and that's one of the. It depends on what the prosthetic is, also. Like if it's an incredibly enclosed one, like I know there are ones where like you don't have your mouth, or you don't have one of your eyes, or you don't have either of your eyes, and you have to look through like another spot, like for the like if you're like playing an alien or something, and that can be incredibly claustrophobic. But if you do like zen out, like I'm just like, and I'm becoming, if I could say, like a artsy fartsy thing, but that's kind of what I do.
So what drove the voice, like the graveliness of it? Like what inspiration did you get to kind of choose your thing voice? You know?
Well, so I was working with the idea, like specifically with the transformation, about things changing. Hey, Kathleen.
Clean.
Like, you know, he can bend metal for the first time, and that's brand new, right? He becomes incredibly heavy and his chair breaks underneath him. You know, like, so it's this idea of a drastic and immediate change, right? And what would that sound like if your vocal cords were turning to stone? So that's kind of where the graveliness came from. Thank you, Tim. That's where the graveliness kind of comes from. Is like I was trying to imitate, like, what would a voice sort of sound like, right?
That's
and
awesome.
then also
Sorry, I
like
got
he's a
distracted
New
by
Yorker.
Kathleen and Tim. No, that totally makes sense. That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that idea of, like, yeah, what you were mentioning, like inner transformation, and how absolutely that would impact like the character's vocal presentation very much so. Like, yeah, I gotta say, mad prop, you won me over, especially with the post credits thing, because of
Oh, cool.
I'm a sucker for Marvel characters playing poker. Like,
yeah.
whenever they do that in the comics or even in like the video games or whatever, as like a little tease or fun thing, like, absolutely. Like, so being able to like see Ben Grimm sitting down playing poker. Now, you said Logan, so there's Wolverine over there. I'm assuming maybe Black Widow to the right,
Yeah.
Daredevil to the left. They look
Yeah.
very Daredevil and Black
Yeah.
Widow-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, we were trying to do it without doing it, right? Like the whole idea was to like Ben Grimm and the Thing playing at a card table there's some really iconic parts of that from the comic books. Often, like, he would be in someone else's book playing poker, and they'd walk in and they'd find him somewhere, and like then he would be like, "Hey guys, you want to go?" You know, and they'd be like, "No, we gotta go do stuff." But and then there's the one the iconic cover of his own book where it's him playing poker at the table with like all the X-Men and Spider-Man, and that we were trying to pay homage to that part of it. And like, as a fan, I'm a huge fan. I always want to see things that I want to see. So
Yeah.
we tried really hard to do that for the fans too.
That's awesome. I don't know. I was with you on FSF this week. I don't know if you were asked this, but do you like any of the Fantastic Four movies that are currently available? Like, do you have a favorite?
I like portions of all of them.
I was about to say no.
I think that a lot of the reasons that the first three Fantastic Four films didn't work, and also why a lot of perhaps the newer Marvel films haven't been working, is because they weren't comic book films, and the newer one also wasn't a comic book movie either. They were weird action science fiction movies where each of the actors were playing their current archetypal character that they were currently playing in their overall world. Like, for example, like in the ones with Chris Evans playing the Human Torch, he was just playing his asshole character that like he had been playing for the past couple of years. You know, like he was in all those movies where like he was a huge dick, and then so he showed up being a dick. And then but I did like I loved Silver Surfer. I thought he was one of the best things in all of those movies. Jessica Alba didn't do a horrible job as the Invisible Woman. You know, I mean, she is what she brings is what she brings, and I think she brought an okay take to that character. That was a good read. In the newer one, I did not like what they did with Ben Grimm. I didn't like what they did with the Thing. How they turned him into just like a depressed murder psycho was really upsetting, because it pulls Excuse me, I'm having a moment with my.
Hey, we have an ongoing joke about the new thing in the new Fantastic Four movie because he didn't have shorts on at one point, right?
Yeah, so he was nude. He had his pee-pee out.
No, he didn't. He didn't have one.
Didn't even
Yeah, he
have
didn't
one.
have one.
That would be a conversation you'd have with Reed, right? Like that would be
Like,
The
like,
old Riverstone and Pebbles.
Where's my doodle?
like, dude.
Have you ever seen the Roger Corman Fantastic Four?
I
Because you're
have,
talking. Yeah.
and I love it because of it's not like it like in today's standards it's bad, right? But it's like one of those. I mean, even in the then standards it's bad too. But it's they tried to do it right, and I respect that a lot. It didn't turn out well, kind of like the old Captain America and stuff like that. But I do like the way that they did the thing. Like that was a super practical thing, and it was pretty cool. I do like Michael Chiklis's thing too. I thought he brought a really nice humanity to that character. I don't like how he could change back because that's his entire thing is that he can't change back, which informs his entire character arc and like everything and like why he hates the Hulk and like all this other stuff.
Right.
So yeah,
I feel like, well, especially with I guess that was the Tim Story Fantastic Fours with Jessica Alba and Chris Evans.
Yeah.
The whole, because those were, I mean, the other one was a Fox produced one, but it felt like always like a contract thing. Like we can't be in makeup too long, or we can't be VFX'd out too much. Like they got to see it's us. Like I'm curious if ever you were to get the role of Ben Grimm the Thing, would you be committed after the origin to just being full on rock monster for the duration of the film?
Yes.
Like you'd be.
Yeah, I'm not like. So like I said that I'm a fan, right? And I want to do and I want to see what the fans would want to do. And the thing is that the world is totally different now. So even if I was locked into a rock monster suit or like a rock monster like special effects or whatever, like look at Josh Brolin playing Thanos. He was always Thanos. Like it's not like he became Josh again, but that's an important thing as a character actor. Like I'm a character actor. I'm not a leading man. I'm not saying that I'm not handsome. I'm just saying that I am quote unquote too large in the industry to be a leading man. That's just how it is. So like character actors truly do not give a fuck about anything else than playing the role and doing it correctly and doing it justice. And especially if it has a fandom, fandoms are so important, and they're so important to me because I'm part of a whole bunch of them. And to see it done correctly, like with The Last of Us, also really is special, and it's important, right?
This is funny, this comment. I gotta pull it out. I love this show, OCD friendly podcast, the perfect evolution of beard growth, a streamer that cares. Thank you.
What? I
think he's saying like amongst like from me to Josh to Mike.
Good call out. Yeah, good call out. Solid.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, okay. We're kind of all over the board, but yeah.
Tim forgot to ask this on FSF. Is after you successfully get casted as Ben Grimm, what character do you would like to play next?
Like in general, like character type or other superhero character?
I'm gonna say
also, Tim, it's cast. Casted is not a word that we use. Strike it out of your vocabulary.
Yeah, geez, Tim.
Anyone.
But we'll blame Tim.
We'll blame Tim. I may not get this role. With all the rumors swirling around, they may announce the cast in July at Comic-Con. I'm trying my best here to get some attention just ripped at me and to do all that stuff. And I'm very proud of it. If it was an MCU role, it looks like they need a Venom. I'd love to play Eddie in the MCU versus.
That'd be sweet.
That was the first role I ever wanted to. All right, Tim. That was the first role I really, really wanted to play, that I really, really connected with, because of his darkness and because of his duality and because of all that stuff. I would love to take a crack at Venom. Tom Hardy obviously is doing a really good job with it. It's not how I would approach the role, but I do understand that they need to make it somewhat comedic.
Let me ask you, what do you think of the Venom movies?
I think they're largely over the top and kind of ridiculous. There are, I'm being kind. there are moments that really make sense, but I watched them both. I thought like Carnage could have been done a little bit differently, a little bit with a little bit more grace than how it was done. I thought how they switched the relationship in the second movie between Eddie and between Venom worked more, but also because they couldn't get the proper origin in because of all the rights and stuff, they had to jump to a much later comic book run, the invasion of the symbiotes, and then we have all these other fucking symbiotes in, and the audience doesn't understand what's actually going on. So it's just like, cool. Like, we're just gonna blow it up before it even starts. But I think that's an IP issue, you know, like,
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel as though, like, because you mentioned Carnage there, and it's like, well, yeah, Carnage done with a PG-13 rating. Do you feel as though it's limited by the rating system in that it needs to be a little bit more visceral, needs to be a little bit more in the R territory for Venom to work, or can it still
feel
work?
like it has to be that way for a lot of stuff to work. Like, the reason that we finally got an acceptable Wolverine is because they made Logan and they made it rated R, and it was one of the most incredible pieces of film that I've ever seen. And I'm not just like, it's the best comic movie ever. It's not even like, it's so good. You know, it's Old Man Logan and it's that and all that stuff. But like, just because they let the character be the character, same thing with like Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool, right? Like, we couldn't have a PG-13 version of that movie. I think it's the same way with Venom, with Carnage especially. I mean, he's a psychotic, depraved serial killer who isn't like the Joker, you know, like, he's not like a Joker-esque weirdo. He's like a calculated, manipulative, like, narcissist lunatic, but he's very exacting and very, until he breaks and goes nuts and when he's in the midst of his murders. But the rest of the time, he's an extremely calculated, you know, he's almost like he's from like the Batman universe, but it's like one of those dudes, like the, like, what's his name, like Walter Zaz, the like dude that like
Victor. Yeah, he carves his tally of his victims into his
so
skin.
it's like, if that dude got the Carnage suit, is more like, to me, how it should be.
Yeah, that was my main issue with Let There Be Carnage, the second movie, was that, like, I think Woody Harrelson is like perfect casting for that role.
Yeah.
Like, he could play the human side of it, but then like all the actual action sequences, like, I think he turns into a tornado at one point.
Yeah, they
and I'm like,
did that like stupid like two magical beings turn to mist and just like hump each other till it's over thing.
That
like creating little rain clouds.
The reason I brought up Venom at all is because you said, like, you know, the Fantastic Four, the Corman one was okay for its time. I feel like Venom is a 90s movie. So that's kind of like why I enjoy those movies, because I feel like I'm transported back to the 90s watching a superhero movie. But yeah, by today's standards, I don't think Venom like holds up. But
I enjoyed it. I'm not going to say that I didn't enjoy watching both.
They're fun. I think they're fun.
Yeah, I do have just intrinsic issues with choices, but everyone's going to have choice issues.
Better than
Morbius. Like I'm excited to see Kraven the Hunter. That should be interesting. Yeah. That is also rated R. It'll be cool to see a comic book accurate Rhino.
But that's Kraven the Hunter minus Spider-Man also, right?
Yeah, it's part of Sony's universe. Which here's the whole deal. It's like I will give the Sony Spider universe every movie because they just seem to be going for broke, whatever it is. You'll have stuff like Venom or Morbius, but
It's
then
like
you'll have
Morbid
Spider-Verse, and then it'll be like the quality may vary, but you're never not going to be bored with them, I feel.
Yeah, I know for everybody that's upset that Spider-Man went to the MCU and so forth, we wouldn't have Across the Spider-Verse and Into the Spider-Verse if Spider-Man hadn't gone to the MCU. Because that was kind of their deal with Marvel. Like, we're going to let you use Spider-Man, but maybe you let us reference some stuff in our Spider-Verse movies, and we're going to do this animated thing. And, they referenced Doctor Strange in the second Spider-Verse movie. So I'm glad that it all worked out the way it did, because Spider-Verse movies are incredible. So
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, I would also like to play like Bane. I'd like to play
another Tom Hardy
You'd be a
character.
good Bane.
Yeah, you're just
I believe in you. Yeah.
I'd like to be a member of the Lantern Corps. I don't know if I'd want to be Hal, but I think I'd make a cool lantern. And then I'd also like to play a dude that falls in love and gets the girl and that type of stuff. It's a role that I write for myself, and that when I make my own stuff, like when I'm allowed to be me, which is like I'm a large dude, but I'm also very, very sensitive, and I love with all of my heart, and I like to hug. I don't like to fight. And I just want to be cast in like a mainstream thing where I get to show. Solomon Grundy would be fucking cool too. Yeah.
He definitely likes to fight more than hug, but
yeah, but I mean, I don't mind playing those people. Like they're a lot of fun. It's just like bigger guys, and I've talked about this before. Large folks are more than just what we're presented to be all the time. Like we're presented as like hulking idiots, or rapists or people that punch you or bank robbers or pieces of shit, and that's largely not the case. Larger people are usually protectors and loving. It's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. Okay, the internet.
Yeah. I hope that the transformation of Ben Grimm gets you at least a cameo in the new Fantastic Four movie. I think that'd be incredible. At least get your foot in that door.
I'm very proud of it. It's very good, and I never really say that about shit that I do because I'm always like, it could be better, and of course there are things that could be better in this, but like how it was made was one of the most incredible things that I've ever done. Like I was just gonna pay for it all myself and just have it made, right? And then a couple of folks came to me via the internet when I started to like post about it and talk about it, to like build hype on it, and they were like, will you crowdfund and start like a membership program and do all this stuff so that we can give you money and we can get involved and you can give us merch and shit like that. And I was like, people want that? Like I'm raised, like you want to pay for me to make my audition for the Marvel Cinematic Universe? And like they were like, yes, please, like start it up. And then all these fans and folks, they paid for it, and they're all getting merch and stuff, and it's really cool. So it really is like a fan funded film, and the people that we brought on board are some of the best in the industry. Like Jamal Solomon worked for Marvel before. He shot Empower, which was the docuseries on Disney Plus about Marvel's women, which I think they just pulled for their money bull crap, but
yeah,
it was incredibly good. It looked amazing, and also he's one of my best friends and has been for many, many, many years. And he actually brought me the idea. Like he was like, why don't we make this thing as your audition? And I was like, I don't know, man. Like that seems kind of like I don't want to make a fan film. I don't want to do that. And then he was like, we're not going to make a fan film. We're going to make a mini Marvel movie with an after credit scene, and we're going to make it feel like people are going to watch it and they're going to be like, what the fuck is this? Like nobody has ever made anything like this before. That's like a fan film that like isn't like 20 seconds long and like only CGI with no work. And I was like, all right, man, let's do it. Thank you for believing in me, and let's go. And then we did. We just started going, and now we have it, and it's really great.
No, absolutely. It's like, well, I feel like the quality of fan films has absolutely in the past few years like gotten so much momentum going for it that like your 4-minute like film there, it's like absolutely could gel really well into a specific version of a Fantastic Four feature. Like
Right.
absolutely, like it could gel extremely well into that kind of universe or that kind of like specific cinematic eye for it. And yeah, it's like if anything, it just gives people in the industry like places to really kind of develop their craft far more. It's like,
Yeah,
Well,
what I
what's
like
cool-
about it so much is you showed the serious side, and then at the end you did the post-credit scene with the comedy. So it's something that could easily fit into like an MCU style story structure the way you did it, and also it could be its own thing, especially going off the serious tone in the first half. So
Sure.
I think you did a fabulous job, and I mean Tim says it right here. We've all watched a lot of short films over the year. We get sent so many actors from short films, and the quality of yours is on another level.
Oh,
Seriously.
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
It is really great. Also, I have Karate Tortoise up on a different screen, and I don't have the audio on, but holy cow. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can show it if you want to. Like if you want to show like the
As
first
a,
scene.
I don't mind. I just
it's
it's
ridiculous.
a thing. It
Yeah.
sure is a thing.
And also my voice. So I talk about voices. If you hear my voice in this, it's a high-pitched New York accent. You won't even know it's me unless I told you that it's me. Yeah. But
All right, you invited it, so
all
let's
right,
do
damn
it.
it.
I got to see this. You had me at Gilbert Gottfried.
So this is a supercut of all of my scenes from the pilot.
Okay. All right, here we go.
You don't have to show the whole thing if you don't want to, but I have a feeling that you're going to. So
I have a feeling he's going to too.
I'll do whatever you are okay with us doing.
Just the intro alone was like, all right.
I love it already.
Oh God! I don't see no red button.
Behind you.
Oh! Oh God, no!
I wouldn't recognize you at all. Yeah.
If Nectar fails under the alarm, you stupid sea cat.
Alarma.
Tortoise! Get the tortoise!
Give me my cheese first.
I don't got no cheese.
Cheese, all right, quit.
This show is ahead of its time.
yeah, oh yeah, it was.
He's falling, and he can't get up.
I'm finally gonna get some savory tortoise pie. Tortoise pie? It's on the new menu.
I love this. This is amazing.
Tell that I wanna
Not the mascot.
undercover and save the big
Yeah,
city.
so this
once
is
and for all.
Matty Benatti. He's the main bad guy, and I'm his hench. And he's constantly trying to kill and eat the karate tortoise. This hare is an alcoholic,
That did say the front look
and
familiar.
the lady is the actual hero of the show. She fixes everything, which is the whole joke of the show.
Joe.
This is amazing. Again, prosthetics are just like incredible.
Was that hard? How long did it take you to get into the manatee suit?
The manatee took 6 hours. Ben took 3.5.
Gotcha.
I could definitely see this working on like an Adult Swim
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
of format.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
Hey, Fatty, what? Well, I know Fatty picked a short one, but I say that yours is a couple of pretty damsels
I don't
too.
recognize your
yes.
voice at all, man.
Fiddle-dee-dee, don't make me blush.
But I have to say, I do prefer your friends.
Wow. Was that a
Fucking break.
so amazing sound effect here?
She was only supposed to be 5 minutes.
Oh,
Fatty only lasts about 8 minutes on
your friend will be out in no time. So what's your name, Toots?
Pearl. Her name's Pearl. Gotta go.
Oh, gee.
Thank God. I thought she'd never leave.
Yeah, no, me too.
I gotta ask, what was it like working with Gilbert?
He was incredible. I have to say, he was so. God, man, like I'm so happy that I got to work with a person like Gil. He was extremely kind and giving, and we spoke a lot when we weren't shooting. He gave me some great advice and made fun of me because he couldn't see my actual face, so he didn't know who he was talking to. And he left set before I got out of makeup, so he actually never met me. He met Marvin with my voice. But he's very soft-spoken, like extremely quiet, and was because he passed. But he was extremely quiet and introspective, and the total opposite of how he was on stage. You know, like when he got to set, he just kind of like sat down and was like reading a book and just getting ready. And I like came in and got a couple of pictures with him and told him that I've been a lifelong fan of his and of his work, and what an honor it is to be here. And he cracked this joke where he was like, well, I don't even know who you are, but I'm sure it is an honor for you to meet me, or something like that. It was really funny. Yeah, he was only there for one day because he was there. We shot all of his scenes, and then he got murdered with a loaf of bread, like he was the cameo that was supposed to get the show picked up. But it never happened. But it's fine. Now, this is the first time it's like been seen on like a show thing ever.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Well, thank you for this experience, because that was awesome. And I'm a big Gilbert fan. I've been a big Gilbert fan. Anytime he was on Hollywood Squares or the Stern Show, or he'd pop into my children's television shows that I would watch as a kid,
Yeah,
Parrot or whatever, like in the roast, you know, he was always the headliner at the roast. And
right.
the dude made me laugh so hard, and that's awesome that you got to experience working with him.
I had one final question for you. Since you're obviously you've been involved in these projects. You mentioned the Amazon Tick series earlier and having a role in there, and you've been working with a lot of like these tremendous talents and so forth. Like, but you're also on the production side of things, creating things on your own. Like, who would you want to like cast in sort of like a project that you were headlining for yourself? Like, who would be like a dream, like you said, guest star, or a dream kind of headliner for a project for you?
Oh God. So there's like a lot of the obvious answers, like like Patrick Stewart. God, why can I only think of Patrick Stewart right now?
Understandable.
Yeah. There's like, I'd like to work with Melissa Navia again. She's on Strange New Worlds. She's the pilot of the Enterprise. She wants to be in my new film. We just got to get funding. And then Adrian Martinez, you probably know him as the cheesehead guy in the commercials with Aaron Rodgers, but he's been in literally everything. He was just in Renfeld. I'd love him to be in this new movie that I showed you the concept art for. I briefly spoke to him about it at an event that we were both at. I like showed him all the concept art, and I was like, what do you think? And he seemed pretty into it, but you never know. I'd like to work with Daniel Radcliffe, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I love the actor that he's turned into. I had the opportunity to meet him for like 5 seconds at a charity event in the city. And he's just a really cool, down to earth, like normal guy. He does have like a giant bodyguard that will punch you in the face if you're there for too long, but that's expected with he's Harry Potter, right? So
yeah. Does he call him Hagrid?
No. Hagrid. You're a wizard.
I gotta say, Daniel Radcliffe and Robert Pattinson's post, what they're known for, careers have been very, very fun.
Yeah. Dude, I love the new Batman.
Yeah, me too.
Love. I know people were like, it's emo Batman. I'm like, it's not emo Batman. It's year one. It's year one. Like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's the best. Anyway, like I thought he was a great choice from the beginning when everyone's like, ooh, sparkly vampire's gonna play Batman. I'm like, yes. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, I mean, I've somebody who's seen some of his post Twilight work, and I'm like, this guy can act. Like he's gonna be a great choice.
Well, like him.
What was the
Lighthouse.
Defoe? Yeah, Lighthouse, right?
Yeah.
Lighthouse, yeah.
Oh man,
Willem
that
Dafoe
was-
is hands down the number one actor that I want to work with.
There we go.
Good call.
Hands
Good call.
down. So like, I was trying to think of people that like I don't want to. I'm just gonna fuck it. Like Willem Dafoe is my favorite actor of all time. Internet, I love Willem Dafoe. I love his work. I love his acting vocabulary. I love how he approaches work and roles. God, who was telling the story? It was Robert Pattinson was telling the story of when they were doing pre-production on The Lighthouse, and like how they would do like script reads, and Pattinson's used to like reading through a script once and then being like, all right, we're not going to touch it again until we're on set. And then he was like, Willem Dafoe we would do a read of it, and then he would just say again, and then they would read it again, and like he was like, we would do that every day, like 5 or 6, 7 times, and like he was so passionate about playing he's so passionate about playing his characters that he puts the work in. Like I'm all about putting the work into a role, because that's how I was brought up. That's how I was trained, is like you respect your characters, you put the work into them to become them, and that's one of the ways that you do it is by really like ingesting your script, and that's what he was up to, and I love that.
Joshua, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been a fun episode, everybody. I am so happy that this all worked out the way it did. John's crazy news stories to ending like this. It's been fantastic. So thank you guys all for tuning in very much. Check out Mike at youtube.com/Mike McGTV. Josh, where can everybody find you online?
You can find me at Josh_Schubart on every single social media, or I have a website, joshuaschubart.com, which will also bring it on my social media.
Nice.
Awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you guys again very, very soon. Have a great night.
Watch